Just imagine, just 100 years ago, people watched movies like the old Godzilla with bated breath, and it was the pinnacle of perfection for them. And today we look at it with a smile because each of us, literally anyone, can recreate something similar in neural networks. And I say anyone for a reason. Today we will dive into the world of the future. We will create our neural avatars and integrate them into our daily lives. I will show you from scratch how to create your neural avatar, how to implement it, for example, using a preview, tell you about the best sites and their features, and show what your avatar can do on the internet. But first, support this video with a like, subscribe to my channel, and let's start creating your neural avatar.
Today, I'm going to show you how to create your own model, aka LoRa, using 3 different platforms. Sure, you could do it entirely in Comfy, but trust me, it's way too complicated. I've been through the struggle myself. When I first tried making a LoRa there, I ended up using other people's configurations just to get something working. And even then, my results turned out way worse compared to the platforms I'm going to show you today. Alright, so which platforms are we going to use today? First, as I already mentioned, Civit.ai. Then we'll also be using Kria and CArt. Today, I'll walk you through the process of creating a LoRa on each of these platforms. And at the end, we'll test them with the same prompt and compare the results to see which one performs best. So let's start with the basics. Civit.ai. Here you'll need to sign up, purchase some tokens, click create, and then train in LoRa. Look, it's as simple as possible here, unlike Comfy. Of course, I'm heckling it so much because it, let's say, got on my nerves and I almost ate a dog on the creation of LoRa in Comfy. Anyway, what do you need here? Here you need to, for example, create some character. It's like, in our case, what we're going to create today. To do that, we need to select character. And if you want to train a model to create an image in a certain way, like fantasy or cyberpunk, then style is the way to go. We also have concept, which is used to create more abstract things like individual shape elements, poses, anatomy, or other conceptual ideas. You can use it to work out details that will then be used in your creative work. If you need to train a model to generate designs of unusual objects, experimental poses, or complex textures, then this type would be the best choice. Well, in this case we need character. In general, what is lore? I forgot, by the way, to mention it. LoRa is a neural network training method that allows you to adapt an already existing large model, for example for image generation, to new tasks using a minimum of resources. Instead of fully training the model, LoRa only trains small additional layers, or weights, and adds them to the main model. In short, first of all, it saves resources, secondly, it's flexible, and thirdly, it's easy to use. But again, we need to select character today. And here we need to write, for example, I am. Let's say I am. We need to click next. Here we agree to the rules. Here you need to upload an average of 30 photos, so that our LoRa could take into account all our poses and compositional solutions. Of course, I don't have 30, but you should add at least that many, so that the result will be semi-ideal. Here we click overwrite and leave everything as it is, except that here we add the tags that you will definitely have to use in the future. Let's say I write beard, short hair, blue eyes. Alright, let's go. Now we're supposed to get... now we're going to have for some time. Here, the tags are automatically generated. You can tweak things here. For example, white background, high quality, you should remember all these tags. Because for the most part, when you create images after you've made the lore, you should add them to your prompts, so that the result will be much better and more like you. Check here. Here we don't agree to not use my dataset, and that's basically it. Then click next. This is finally the most important thing, what we need. Here we select the Flux model. Of course, you can test and choose as the XL model, but I will show you variants with the same prompt and different model. Compare them yourself and decide what you like better. I will choose Flux. After we have chosen Flux, we go to Advanced Settings. Here we need to create 3 different states. We will choose the states also on the Civit.ai site, the images on which we will train our lore. For example, here we'll select image, and in the filters we'll select last month. To be honest, it doesn't look very good. Okay, let's make this one a character. We'll choose the prompt here. We're going to copy all this stuff, paste it in. any LoRa add-ons we remove, any enhancements that make the image more beautiful we also remove. What have we got here? We also remove such details, we don't need it all. We will use it in the future when we create a prompt. Okay, we'll leave all this. What else? Let's even flesh out our prompt. Okay, detail dies. Okay, we'll keep that. The most important thing is to choose styles that are always different from each other. So for example, the character, we can use that. We'll take all this stuff here and then we'll put it over here. So we take everything out, what's at the beginning, write our more appropriate prompts, which will be close to what we want to create. Next, after we've done all that, after we've loaded the 3 prompts, we go into training parameters. We set the number of epochs to 15. Engine we choose if you have repeat, but it is hardly worth it. We choose Koya. Next epochs, if we set 15, you can set 30 if you want it to be very much like you with a lot of details, but you can stop at 15. Next is repeats. It means the number of repetitions of each image. If you, for example, set repeats equal to 10, it means that each image will be used 10 times in one training epoch. I usually set it around 30, 40. That's quite enough, enough is enough. But again, when we increase repeats, we also have the price for our lore getting a bit more expensive. But if you buy, as I do, 10,000 boos, there is no problem. Further, we do not touch any parameters, we leave everything as it is. The only thing is that the maximum can be set to 2. I do not know why, but I have tested different lore, and for some reason when skip 2 is set, the results are better.
Next we click submit, and as you can see we have to wait for almost 2 hours and it will cost 2200. Click submit, and in the meantime we're going to go to Crea and CArt. I'm not going to click on it because I've already got a LoRa created.
Next we have where we will create our lore. This is CArt. It's pretty straightforward here. In fact, I like CArt the least because most of the results here are very cartoonish, but to each his own. In order to create a lore on this service, we need to go to generate. Here you can see the created lores. This is my model, which I trained here. I've also trained myself here. And let me try to show you how to create it. My name here is my name. Next is LoRa, and the tags match the description of my avatar. This is where we leave the privacy settings. In the advanced settings, we add a version to our model. We also set the base model to Flux. I'm not going to focus too much on the introduction settings, and I'll put in the base prompt. By the way, the cool thing is if you have a LoRa created, we can upload it here as well. The next step is to go into the internal files of our lore, i.e. Stable Diffusion model. There somewhere, we add the lore here, set the epochs to, well, let's make it 15, click next. Here you can upload even 40 different photos. You can upload a zip archive with your photos in square format, in different poses, in different clothes, with different facial expressions, so that LoRa understands what you want from her. After you save it, you should have it appear in models in your profile. Here she is. That's it. After we've created, we go to Crea. And here we create the same thing in the same way. Click upload image, add our 10 or 30 photos. The settings are the same as on other sites. We end up with some great LoRas that we can practice on. That's it. After we've created all this, we can now create a character. The most basic thing is that once our lore already exists, we need to migrate the existing LoRa. Let's say we go to the CVTI website, and there it is. The lore. Here are the results that more or less look like me. The first model you're going to have created is not going to look like you at all. So we skip it and look for an era that more or less looks like you. Now let's look at the results we got in Stable Diffusion. I have Stable Diffusion Forge. You can use this build too, just install Flux model as well. Copy those parameters that we set earlier and paste them into the window for prompt, but if anything you can leave only the tags that we prescribed when generating tags, beard, blue eyes, etc. And the rest you can add your own. Let's say a character running on a soccer field with a banana or something worse. The flight of fancy is limitless. Let's test what results we can get using CArt. It's all about beginners. Intuitive and clear. You only need to pay for the service and twist various parameters. Now let's test the result of what we can do in Crea. Here we can also add some styles to the basic lore and get more beautiful results, but maybe I've done something wrong and got myself fat. Most of all, I liked the result created in Forge. Respectively, it is it I will use as a thumbnail. In the settings of Photoshop, I use only generative fill to create a background. And already with Adobe Firefly create text, If you want a more detailed lesson on creating text, leave a comment. And if you are interested in something specific or you want me to create a LoRa for you, then write me a text message. See the result.